Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Dating with Herpes. An workshop style, a workshop style YouTube series to really help you end shame around herpes and start living your life now. Not years from now, but now. And if you haven't been watching and you're just tuning in for this one, I would highly suggest you go back and check out the other 3 videos. And if you want to know a little bit more about me, my name is Kimberly Johnson. I am a life coach and a sex coach. I live in Denver, Colorado. And I am so honored to be sharing this information with you and this work with you. I've had herpes for 12 years. I was married for a lot of my years of herpes. I contracted it from my ex, and now I divorced about 5 years ago, and now being on the end of dating, I really saw a need, like a need for someone to actually offer services and to really be talking about what it is to be a normal human being dating with herpes. Not the scary imaginings or whatever, but like I'm a real human being who also has herpes. So I'm so excited you're here, and I want to start today by asking you, what are your thoughts on forgiveness? I have found when working with clients around STIs or sexual shame that actually there is a level of forgiveness that always needs to be worked through or talked about or brought to the surface. And sometimes with people, it's forgiving whoever gave them herpes. Whoever was the first carrier, and then you slept with them and you got herpes. Sometimes it's forgiving yourself for maybe being promiscuous with your body, or maybe being not having the courage to have a conversation before you slept with someone, like whatever it is. Or like forgiving your body for doing what the body does, which we talk about in another episode, of like contracting viruses, like forgiving your body for being a body. And just really looking at where forgiveness, if something or someone were forgiven, where it can make an impact. And is it with somebody else, or is it with yourself? And if you know, like really take that on in this next exercise. Forgiveness, something that we don't really realize is we think that forgiveness is just something that we do once. Like, oh, I forgive this person. But I want to offer that actually, forgiveness is something we practice every single moment. Whenever judgment arises, whenever the feelings of hate or frustration towards that person, or whatever arises, like we're constantly practicing forgiveness. And you might be asking, like, I don't want to forgive that person, or why would I forgive that person? Right? It's easier to see why it would be nice to forgive ourselves, but to forgive another, sometimes we have a hard time. And I want to just ascertain a few things, which the first thing is that actually when you hold resentment towards someone, or anger towards someone, or hate towards someone, that it actually is the thing. Like, you think you're giving it out here, like, I hate that person, like you think you're doing something to somebody else, but it is the poison you drink. It destroys you, not them. Because they're over living their own life, right? And they might have their own feelings of regret, or, feeling sorry or whatever. They have their own life. But right now, if it's affecting you, if your resentment or your hate or your anger is affecting you, it's because it's the poison that you drink. It's destroying you. And I get it. However you contracted herpes, I'm sorry, and I know that it sucks. Like those first few days or years when you aren't empowered around it, it sucks. And that's okay. We can acknowledge that it sucks and not keep hating someone. We can acknowledge that it sucks and we can forgive. They can coexist. And so I want to offer a quick exercise before we dive more into the work, but really I want to start with an exercise on forgiveness. So wherever you are, close your eyes. And just take a few deep breaths. If your feet aren't on the floor, place both feet on the floor. If you're sitting in a bed or something, just elongate your spine to ground you and to connect you fully to earth energy and spirit energy, to get you here in this moment. And I want you to place your hands really intentionally, palms down on your legs. And just fall into my voice. There's nothing you have to do. You just follow into and fall into my voice. Let's take 3 deep breaths with exhales with noise. 2 more like that. 1 more. Get still and silent. And I want you to go ahead without moving your hands. I just want you to feel where your hands are. Feel them touching your leg. Feel them touching your clothes. Are your fingers touching? Can you find your index finger? Just come into the body by finding your hands. Next, I want you to arise in your mind the person or the thing that you could begin playing with and claiming forgiveness around. So if it's a person, just gently bring their face up. If it's you, bring your face up. If it's your body, just see your body, get in touch with your body. And what I want you to just do is start repeating this. So I'm going to use me as an example. Kimberly, I am sorry. Kimberly, please forgive me. Kimberly, I love you. Kimberly, thank you. Kimberly, I am sorry. Kimberly, please forgive me. Kimberly, thank you. Kimberly, I love you. So when you say, Kimberly, I am sorry, it's just claiming that you're sorry for the whole situation, for everything going on with the person or yourself. When you say, Kimberly, please forgive me, you're saying, I take responsibility for all the ways that I showed up that created this situation. Please forgive me for the ways that I showed up. Please forgive me for the ways I've been hating you or resenting you or sending anger your way. And when you say, Kimberly, thank you, you're just saying, thank you for these life lessons. Thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Mother Earth, for this existence. Thank you for growth. And when you say, Kimberly, I love you, you're acknowledging love between humanity. A love that surpasses anything we could do. A love that surpasses anything of this physical world. Keep repeating, Kimberly, I'm sorry. Kimberly, please forgive me. Kimberly, thank you. Kimberly, I love you. Keep going as I fall silent. Keep going until you feel a shift, a softening, something. Keep going through the discomfort. Keep going through the monotony. Cause value for yourself. This is the work. Keep going. Say it with emotion. Say it with fire. Say it as if you mean it. Say it as if you're getting a shift will make a huge difference for you. Keep going. Say it louder. Say it with conviction. Say it with emotion. Mean it. Keep going. For the last few seconds, place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly and keep going. Kimberly, I am sorry. Kimberly, please forgive me. Kimberly, thank you. Kimberly, I love you. If you haven't had a shift, push pause and return when you have. Go ahead and finish the round you're on if you've had a shift. Take one more deep inhale. Exhale with noise. Open your eyes. Forgiveness is a release. It takes courage. What you did just now takes so much courage. It's easier to hold resentment. It's easier to send hate. You know, it's like when someone's kind, it's easy to be kind. When somebody hasn't ever done anything to you, it's easy to love them and have compassion for them and care about them. And that's not where the work is. It's not what the world needs. The world needs people who can be compassionate and forgiving for people that don't act how we want them to act, that do things that maybe are hurtful. That is what will bring humanity back together. And it's our job. And every time we forgive, and listen, this isn't like magic. If you had a shift, this isn't magic. Frustration's going to arise again. And that's okay, because forgiveness is a practice just like anything else we do in life. You get up, you practice brushing your teeth. You get up, you practice going to work. You practice your job. Everything we do is practice. And that includes forgiveness. Forgiveness is not out of that category. It takes practice. When something arises, you close your eyes and maybe you say the prayer. When something arises, you feel it, you don't push it away, and you ask for forgiveness to arise. How can I forgive this person? And that prayer is called the Ho'oponopono prayer. It comes from Hawaii. You can look it up, you can research about it. I love that prayer. And I want to suggest that you really take it on. Like you take on forgiveness, whether with yourself, with another. What it does is it opens your heart and opens your heart, hopoano. It opens your heart to compassion. It opens your heart to what's possible, what's beyond this conversation, what's beyond herpes for your life. Unfortunately, this is not the only thing that will be challenging in your life. This is the opportunity to practice. So practice. When anything arises, practice and know it takes courage, because it's easy to hate someone that did something. And that's the state of the world. You can see it. You did this, you were wrong, I'm going to now hate you, and I'm going to send you bad vibes, and I'm going to declare and create war with you. It's a microcosm. You want peace in the world, you create peace in your life. That's where it starts. And it takes courage, because we're not taught that, and that's not what people are out there in the world doing. But you wouldn't be watching this video if you weren't up to something big. This is the juiciness. This is life. So I want to talk to you about, I want to shift gears a little bit, because what we talked about in the last video is like who and what you want to do. And I really created that context because of this. Herpes is a problem. You wouldn't be watching this video if it weren't. It's in some way a problem. It's a challenge. It's like climbing Mount Everest, maybe. Maybe it's getting up and running a half marathon every day because it feels like a challenge. It feels like a problem that needs to be solved. And I get it. I love that the trash, I love living in a city. It's so loud. Like the trash man was just breaking a bunch of glass for us. It was like, yeah, it's a challenge. Okay, yeah, it's a problem. And I want to suggest this. The way through herpes, like really, it's to validate herpes, it's to validate your feelings around herpes, it's to educate yourself, it's to empower yourself, all of that. And it's to get bigger problems. When we have herpes and it becomes a problem in our everyday life and it makes us depressed and resentful and, creating like hate and torture in the world because we're tortured in the world, and it's like navel gazing. Like, look down at your belly button. Imagine living life like this. Like trying to interact with people, trying to go to work when your head is just down the whole time. That's what sometimes people do with herpes. It becomes this like, woe me, oh my gosh, all this. And I'm not invalidating that. I get it. I used to be there. I get it. And I want to suggest to you to get bigger problems. 1 in 6 Americans has genital herpes. And that actually the way through it is to create something big for your life, to know what you're living for, and to take action toward what you're living for. And then herpes becomes this like, part of your story. It just becomes a part of your story. It's no longer who you are. It's no longer what runs your life. So I want you to go back. If you haven't watched video 3, it's all in video 3. Like really getting clear on what you want and beginning to make some action steps toward what you want. Putting it in your calendar. And now I want to talk about integrity. Really following through with what you say you're going to follow through on. So whenever we create goals or whenever we think we want something in life, it becomes very like, oh, I want that, right? Like it becomes like a dream. It becomes like in your mind, you think about it a lot. And it can stay there. I don't know if you've ever had a dream that it just stays in your mind. I have. Multiple. Right? And then you just have a thought. You just have a random set of thoughts. They don't really do anything. Maybe they inspire you for a minute. But where you're going to get your life is to put your dream into action. Get out into the world, living your dream, creating your dream, talking about your dream. Like really. So, I want to talk about aligned action and integrity. So in In tarot, my computer always wants to do this. In tarot, there's this concept of your mind, your heart, and your actions must be aligned. Your mind, your heart, and your actions, they must be aligned. And so it's like if you are doing something and you're kind of like, I don't really like what I'm doing, I don't really want to be doing it, and then your mind is like, I don't want to be doing it, why am I doing this, I hate getting up at 8 a.m. to go to work every day, right? Then like your actions clash with your heart and mind, and no wonder you feel insane and unfulfilled and angsty and hating life. Really, think about it. It makes total sense. Like if your mind is bashing it all the time and your heart is not in it, of course you're going to feel miserable and you're going to feel disconnected and you're going to hate it, and maybe some days it's okay, and right? I get it. So I want to really talk about mind, heart, and action. Creating actions that you're taking in the world that inspire you. And there's a beautiful poem by the prophet. It's so good. So good. And it's, if you haven't read The Prophet, it's by Khalil Gibran. He's amazing. And he talks about, I'm actually going to get it because that's way better. Hold on. It's just way better to hear the real thing. And it's right here because I like read it every night before I go to bed. Because it gives me dreams. So that's what I started doing. Okay, on work, 31. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read the parts that really, really call to me. Okay, ready? Work is love made visible. And if you cannot work with love, but only with distaste, it is better that you should leave your work and sit at the gate of the temple and take alms of those who work with joy. For if you bake bread with indifference, you bake a bitter bread that feeds but half man's hunger. And if you grudge the crushing of grapes, your grudge distills a poison in the wine. And if you sing, though as angels, and love not singing, you muffle man's ears to the voices of the day and the voices of the night. The intention that you have when you do things matters. So if you said you want something, and in the last video you kind of created a small action plan, I want you to just go through and really connect your mind and your heart and say, okay, are these the action plan? Like, is this the action plan that I can approach with my heart and my mind and my action? Obviously, it's an action plan. And really go out into the world and create what I want for myself. Now remember, this doesn't mean you have to leave your day job. Sometimes people's passion projects, especially if they get herpes, is like sex education, right? Like you can do a bunch of stuff, and it doesn't mean you have to leave your day job. It doesn't mean, like, it can just be a passion project. Like, what do you want? Get bigger problems. The world, there's a lot going on in the world. And like I said, I don't want to invalidate you. I get where you are. I've been there. I've been the one that, like, doesn't leave my house because I have herpes. Like, I get it. And you're watching this video for a reason. So what's your bigger problem? And go back to video 3 if you need to. And then really create an action plan and align it with your mind and your heart. It's not that hard. Like, you just say, like, is this really what I want? Is my heart calling toward this? And what are the action steps that I can begin to take to get me there? And I want to say something really profound that Tony Robbins said. He said, we overestimate what we can get done in a year. We overestimate what we can get done in a day and a year. But we underestimate what we can get done in a decade. Like, really, this is long term. I'm not here to put a Band-Aid on your issues. I'm not here to put a Band-Aid over herpes and then, like, you walk away still hating yourself. No, it's not what I'm up to. I'm up to that herpes is your access point. Herpes led you to this video. Herpes led you to a sense of suffering that all the other human beings out there are experiencing, and it's connecting you to compassion, and it's connecting you to human life, to what it is to be human. And we can take the things that are adversity to us and we can wallow in it. We could live our whole life suffering. I get it. There's lots of people that are going to do that. And I don't want you to be one of them. I want this to be the thing that lights the fire under your ass, gets you moving in your life, so that herpes becomes like a little dot in your story, and you're out in the world really making a difference, and making the difference you want to make. So if it's in your family group, if it's in your community, your career, your job, or if it's at a world scale, that you have permission to do it. And herpes is your access point. Not because you have to go out and teach about herpes, no. But because it has touched something inside of you. A passion and a power. And then, when you have all your aligned actions, the goal is to follow through. And I'm going to tell you something about following your heart and taking action on your dreams that most people don't talk about, is that a lot of the time, you're not going to wanna. Things aren't going to feel great, right? You're going to have days when it does, when you're like, oh, I'm so connected to my goals. I'm so connected to my dreams, right? You're going to have those days. And then you're going to have the other days where you're not connected, where you are like upset that you have to do something for your passion project, or where you feel like you don't have time. Like, those are all just human mechanism. They're part of the brain. The brain brings up, remember, everything from your past. Everything from your past. So if you've ever had the thought, I don't have enough time, it's gonna arise. If you ever have the thought, I'm not good enough, I can't do it, it's gonna arise. If you ever have the thought, I don't know what I'm doing, like, what am I doing? Like, I don't know how to do this. If you've had that thought before, it's gonna arise. Whatever your patterning, whatever your mechanism is, right? For me, it's like, I don't wanna. I just don't wanna. I don't feel like it. I don't wanna. I'd rather be in bed reading a book. I'd rather walk to a coffee shop and sit and talk to people, right? Like, mine is, I don't wanna. And my other is that I'm lazy. I just wanna be lazy. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a part of my mechanism. It's like, oh, it feels really good to be lazy. Feels good to not do much. Because it just does. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with the programs that arise until you believe them. And then it stops you from doing what you want. So integrity comes in because if you create an action plan and you really want something for yourself, it's going to take constantly reminding yourself to recommit to your project, to recommit to what you're passionate about, to recommit to taking actions. And it's all about action, right? Like, we live in our minds so much. And for me, another part of my story is like, I will like half do things and then like, I think I'll do them. Like, I think that I've done them. Like, I've, like half done this, which means that I've done it. So I've done enough. Like, I like bragging rights because I've started this thing, but I don't finish it. I like let my story of I want to be lazy or like I don't want to or I don't feel like it get in the way. And what I had to learn in practice, so just like forgiveness, I had to practice actually keeping my word. I had to practice when I said I was going to do something, do it. Or don't say I'm going to do it. And I had to really put my butt on the line with this. Like telling everyone I'm writing a book. Telling everyone I'm writing a book so that I finish it. Telling everyone I'm doing this video series so that they're expecting it. Like really telling everyone, creating it in my outer world. If it just lives in your head, it's going to stay in your head. But ways to get it out into the world is to tell people you know. Ask people to hold you accountable. Ask people to every single time they see you to ask you about it. And you can do this with anything. You can do it with your health. If you want to lose weight, you could do it with your relationship. If you want to like have better communication, like tell your boyfriend, call me out when I'm not communicating. Or if you want to like, you know, like do something big, like start a business, tell everyone. Everyone. Get your butt on the line for a bigger problem. And take action, 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 action. That doesn't mean burn yourself out. It means be realistic with your life and take as much action as you can. Go out and take an action. And every day. Like writers that don't write every day, like I get it. I get how you could start a book and not finish it. I totally get it. Because writing is a discipline. It is. It's like a discipline. Like what you do, what you practice every day is your habits. It's what you do every day. So if you're not writing every day, your book can just like be forgotten. And it's like, it's happened to me a few times in writing this book. Like if I wasn't writing every day, I'd just be so disconnected. And I'm like, I don't want to write. I don't have time to write. Oh, I don't want to write. I don't want to. It's the program. And when I put something in my calendar now, I do it. Me making this call right now, in my calendar. Here I am. Did I want to? Kind of not. I was kind of tired. To be honest, I got up and I did a dance class and I had a business call at noon and I kind of didn't want to. But no one else is going to stand up for you. Like people will advocate for you and people will have your back if you like get a team behind you and you tell everyone and you're asking everyone to check in with you, sure. Or if you hire someone to help you, sure. But even that person cannot do the work for you. It's your job. It's your job. And to have integrity isn't moral. It's not like if you do everything, you're a better person, or if you do everything, or if you don't do everything, you're a bad person. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with having a life that you really love and having a life that is meaningful and having a life that works for you. I'm sorry, but not following through on things, it just doesn't work because you're constantly like saying you're going to do something, not doing it. You don't trust yourself. You don't trust yourself to complete something. You don't trust yourself to do what you say you're going to do. And the only way to build that trust is to start doing it. And it takes practice and you're going to fail a lot. And thank goodness, because failure just gives you the opportunity to grow, and failure gives you the opportunity to look at your patterns. Failure is our biggest gift. In fact, I was listening to this podcast this morning, and this guy, he's a martial artist. He said his strategy going into a fight is fail soon. Fail as soon as possible. Fail fast, fail soon. And he says that because once you fail, you learn. Like once I make a mistake, I won't make that mistake again. And if I do, then the lesson's even harder the second time. If you fail fast, then you learn fast. So go at it. Go get your life. And you're not going to want to. That's just a program. We live in a human mechanism, a machine. And if you haven't watched the other videos, I talk about this. We live in a machine, and the machine has certain programs. And it's from your past. It's not who you are. Who you are is something beyond that. Who you are is the observer that can observe all that. Who you are is who you say you are. So if you say, I'm going to use this example. If you say you're gay, you're gay. Your word created that. If you say you're a teacher, you're a teacher. If you say you're married, you're married. Literally, a piece of paper says it. You sign it. You're married. You say, I do. You say all the promises, all the commitments. It's by word. Word creates our reality. So what you say you're going to do, by you doing it, you actually create your life. And it's going to be a really juicy, good life if you create that for yourself. It's not going to just happen. Like sometimes magical things happen. I will so attest for that. Like I meet the right person and it offers me this opportunity or whatever. And I attest for that. And I'm open to that. Like I call that in. But I am like wildly in tune with my dreams. Wildly. Like this morning during dance, I was like looking up during one of the moves. I'm so dramatic in dance. People that watch me dance are probably like, because I'm kind of spastic and I'm really dramatic and I love it. I don't care. So I was like looking up and I was just like thankful. And I was like, I am going after it. Life is not going to create itself. You create it. And I was just like staring out, being like, like owning that I want to change the world. And I don't care. Like, there's like a lot of talk about, like, there's like a lot of negative talk about people wanting to change the world or wanting to make a difference, and how it's egotistical, or when people want to make a lot of money, it's egotistical. And I'm like, no. I have dear friends, the dearest of friends, that their only dream is to like farm. To farm, have lots of babies. Like, it's not everyone's dream. So if it's your dream and your calling, go after it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. And keep checking your ego. Am I doing this to be liked, or am I doing it because I really want to do it and make a difference? Am I doing this to be liked, or am I doing it because I really want to do it and make a difference, right? Check your ego. And keep taking actions. And if you say you're going to do something, do it. Do it. Even for yourself. Like, for yourself is the main one. Like, we will do things for other people, like, right? Like, our friend will call, be like, hey, you want to go to the movies? And you're like, yeah, I'll go to the movies with you. And then you go, like, you're not going to, like, ditch out on your friend. You're not going to not show up. Or if you don't want to go, you're going to call her and be like, hey, girl, I can't go to the movie. I'm sorry, right? Please forgive me. Let's try to go next week, right? But with yourself, you're like, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to lose 15 pounds. I'm going to get my body ready for summer, right? And then, like, 6 a.m., your alarm goes off and you're like, nope. Right? You, like, will keep your word with everyone but yourself. And with yourself is who matters most, because when you trust yourself and you know who you are, you know you're a person that can make a difference. You know you're a person who can change things for yourself. You know you're a person who can accomplish what you say you're going to accomplish. You know you know yourself to be capable. That's when you trust. That's when you trust yourself. That's when you trust others. If you can't trust yourself, it's going to be hard to trust others. You don't even trust yourself to follow through. Why would you trust him to follow through? So really, take it on. Take on following through. Whatever your list is, do it. And if you mess up today, don't make a big deal about it. Start again. In each moment, we have a new moment. We get a new opportunity to start again. If you start like bad-mouthing the person that gave you herpes, or you start hating on yourself, each moment you get a new opportunity. Just because you wake up and you start maybe talking negative about yourself doesn't mean it has to ruin your whole day. Because you have a new moment. So I want to ask you a question about how much time, just like how much time do you have, like, that you spend thinking about herpes, or thinking about wanting love but being scared of having herpes, or dating someone and like thinking like I need to tell them? Like, how much time do you spend in the realm of disempowerment around herpes or anything to do with herpes? Maybe even feeling like you're damaged goods or you're not unworthy. All of that counts. How much time do you spend? And just think about it. Think about how much time you spend in a week. Okay, so for me, I'm going to use my example. When I was really disempowered around herpes, like, it wouldn't be all the time, but like, especially when I was dating right out of my marriage, it was a lot. It was a lot. I was like, every time I would go on a date with somebody, I'm like, when do I tell them? Do I tell them now? How do I say it? What do I do? Oh, okay, it's time. Oh, blah, blah, right? I'm like spending so much time. And I want to calculate it, okay? So let's say, so go ahead and write your time down. So just take a piece of paper, write your time down. So I'm going to say when I was dating, like in the throes of dating and really trying to, like, find love, I was probably thinking about it like let's say an hour a day. It's not much, hour a day. So 1 hour a day times 7 days a week. Some days I would spend all day worrying about it, but it'll equal itself out. So that's 7 hours a week. And then 7 times, I'm really bad at math. I'm going to pull out my calculator. So let's say, take that number and multiply it by, there's 56 weeks in a year, 52 weeks in a year. I forget. Multiply it by 52 or 56, however many weeks in a year. I'm going to do 56 because it's just going to be a bigger number and I want you to just see the effect. Okay, so that's 392 hours. And then let's divide it by 24 because there's 24 hours in a day. So that's 16 days of your life wasted. So 16 days, like that's two and change weeks of your life. Okay, so let's do something else. So we have 392 hours, and then I want you to multiply that by how much you get paid. So I'm going to do an average for me. So 392 times 50 hours, $50 an hour. That's $19,600. Where I could be seeing a client, where I could be empowering myself, I could do personal development, I could be doing something I love, but instead I'm like wasting my time. So I'm wasting 16 days of my life, 16 full days of my life, 16.33 actually, so more than 16, and $19,000 when I could be like empowering myself or seeing clients or going out into doing cool events. Like I could be doing so much stuff. I want you to get it. How much time we spend, really, how much time we spend worrying about stuff. And you could use these measurements for anything you worry about. Anything you worry about. If you're worrying about being in a relationship and you're worrying about it all the time or thinking about how men don't want to date you or you don't know how to date and you're just like worrying about it instead of taking action, do the math. See the numbers. Really see the numbers. I have so many clients that come to me and they want to like date. They're like, I want to date, but they won't do dating sites. They don't go out into public, like to public events to meet people. They're not willing to take the action, but they're willing to spend a lot of time complaining and a lot of time worrying, and they're just wasting their time and their life. Oh, this is 16 days. Whoa, this is 16 days a year. Sorry, 16 days a year. Okay, let's say 16 days a year because I did by 365. So it's only a year. 16 days out of the year. If you do something for an hour a day, you're doing something for 16 days out of your year. So let's say I live to 70. That could be generous or not. I don't know. Whoa. If I live to 70, that's 1,120 days of my life. How many years is that? Divided by 365. 3 years. Mind blown. So if you don't know what I just did, this is what I did. I said, how many hours a day am I worrying? Okay, I said 1. And then so that's 7 hours a week. Then I multiplied 7 times the amount of weeks in the year. 52 or 56, I forget. 54 maybe, I don't remember. Sorry, and I'm not going to do the research right now. So you multiply it by that. Maybe I should do the research. Dang it. See, this is it. Having accountability. $52. Perfect. Okay, so 52 weeks in a year. So I was worrying 7 hours a week times 52, right? And then you get the amount of hours that is out of the year that you're worrying about it. And then you divide it by 24 hours and you get how many days. So you get how many days out of 1 year that you've been worrying. And then so my number was 16 days. And then I multiplied 16 times 70, like thinking about how much time I would spend worrying about this out of my lifetime. And it was 3 years, people. 3 years. You know how much you can get accomplished in 3 years? A whole career. You could, anything. You could become a millionaire in 3 years. You could find the love of your life in 3 years. You could have 3 children. Probably not 3, 2. You could have 2 children. It's a lot of time. Get bigger problems. Go after what you want. And yes, it's going to take courage, but have integrity. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Make it impossible to fail. Make it impossible to fail. I'm going to say it again. Make it impossible to fail. And I don't mean little failures. I don't mean like oh, I messed up, I sent that email wrong, or like, oh, that person said no to me, or like, oh, I didn't get that contract. I'm not talking about those fails. I'm talking about not ever going after your life. Make it impossible that every day you don't get up and you don't go after your life. Create structure. Tell everyone you know. Create structure. Tell everyone you know. And take action, 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 action. And this is what I want to end with. Become obsessed. Become obsessed with what you want. Why? Because it's what you want. And when you become obsessed with it, you will master it. Like obsessed. Like this is what I'm going to go after, and I'm going to do it every single day, and I'm going to master it. And even like your obsessions can change throughout your lifetime. So maybe your obsession right now is health, or maybe your obsession right now is dating, maybe your obsession, like whatever. Become obsessed with it. When you wake up in the morning, declare what you want. Say it to yourself over and over again. Have it plastered everywhere. Have reminders popping up in your phone, right? Like, become obsessed with it. Like, I am an author. I'm going to be published. I make a difference. I'm changing the world of sex and sexuality. You know, I also have a dream of opening a certain space, and I'm just becoming obsessed with it. I'm starting a women's group. I'm becoming obsessed with what I want. So that way there's like no getting out of it. I'm telling everyone about my women's group, and I haven't even started it yet, right? Like I'm in like the dreaming process, and I'm just telling everyone about it. I'm like, I'm doing this group, and I am going to do it. I'm starting it in June, but I'm like, this is what I'm doing. I'm just creating it in my outer world because that's the only way things get created. So become obsessed. Every morning when you wake up, have it be your thoughts. Think about it. See yourself already having it. Imagine yourself with it, because you already are what you want. You already are as powerful as you think. Herpes is like a blip. It's like, you have herpes. And use it. Let it like draw out the beast in you, the fierce warrior, the goddess. Let it draw it out of you and go get what you want in life. And let herpes be like when people get to know you, they're like, oh, she has herpes, whatever. Like, look at all the amazing, like, look at how amazing she is. Look at how peaceful she is. Look at how successful and driven she is. Look at how kind and compassionate it is. You know, you don't have to go over a business. You can like make your life, all wholly for like wanting to be a compassionate person. You could make your whole life helping the homeless. You can make your whole life helping immigrants. You can make your whole life whatever you want it to be. A business person. Like anything. The world is yours. Obsess yourself. Watch videos. You know, something when I was getting off sugar, I just watched every video on sugar. If you want to become a business person, read business books. If you want to like learn about religions, read books, ask monks to talk to them, ask preachers to talk to them, like whatever you want. Start putting it into your daily life and existence. Become obsessed with it, and it will happen. Put your butt on the line. Let herpes, let this video be the thing to ignite the fire within you. Please, also, if you want to share with me, if something's coming up, if you want me to hold you accountable, send me an email. Tell me what you're up to. I want to hear. You can go to KimberlyCoaching.com. There's a contact form. Contact me. I want to hear from you. I want to help people go after their dreams. You're worth it. You're worthy. Herpes has nothing to do with your worthiness. I'm going to say it again. Herpes has nothing to do with your worthiness. You were born just like every other human on the planet. I'm sorry, but I refuse to believe that 1 in 6 people are unworthy. It's a false thing. Stop saying it to yourself. Create a new storyline around it. Watch the rest of the videos. Do the work. Have integrity to your word. You are powerful. You are beyond powerful. You are capable of anything. You're amazing. Please watch video 5. It's the final video. There's going to be so much goodness in it. I hope that you're getting something out of this. Please contact me. And know that you're not alone. See you in video 5.